Sarasota County School District has a new chief of police. Why he stood out against the rest of the candidates.
Plus, a look into the daily lives of local police, how you can ride along with Sarasota PD in real time.
And we have a sneak preview of the Braves' new spring training stadium going up now in Northport. Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching ABC 7 News at 6.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis.
And I'm Jacqueline Matter. Thanks for joining us. Topping our news at 6, Sarasota Schools names a district police chief. It is now full steam ahead for the new department.
But there are still some hurdles for the district and the candidate to clear before the chief can get to work. ABC 7's Jess Dowdrick joins us now to introduce us to the new chief and explain what's next in this hiring process. Jess?
Jacqueline, Scott, district employees say it was an easy decision. Paul Grochowski stood out and was an easy choice. He is now Sarasota County School District's new police chief with 22 years of law enforcement experience, working for both universities and community police forces. Grochowski will oversee the force, which includes 3 sergeants and 21 school resource officers going into the 2018-2019 school year. Grochowski comes to Sarasota from Allen Hancock Joint Community College in Santa Maria, California, where he recently served as the Director of Public Safety, serving and protecting 4 college campuses. The new chief also worked for the Port St. Lucie Police Department in Florida from 2002 to 2015, where he was a member of the SWAT team for 11 years. Grochowski is currently in a 4-hour extensive background check as part of the new position, but he said in a statement today, quote, "As a father, I am keenly aware of the fear children face going to school every day in these unprecedented times and share the concerns of every loving parent who places their trust in us. It is my goal to provide a safe learning environment so all children can receive the A-rated education that the Sarasota County School District provides."
We are continuing to work towards that August 13th date. Nothing that happened yesterday in our workshop slowed our efforts. As a matter of fact, there's increased urgency that the police departments have said we're prepared to start the school year in those schools, but we want you to get officers trained, selected, and relieve us of that responsibility.
Grochowski still needs to pass that intense background investigation before the district can officially hire him. The school board also has to approve the decision at their upcoming meeting on June 19th. If all goes as planned, Grochowski will start on the day after, June 20th. Jacqueline and Scott.
All right, Jess, thank you. Grochowski was also a finalist for the chief of the Northport Police Department, and the city announcing its new chief today. City Manager Peter Lear says Todd Garrison has accepted the position and will now go through his background check and physical. He'll likely start in the next 30 days. Garrison is a third-generation law enforcement officer. He's currently a captain with the Lee County Sheriff's Office, where he's served since 1994. Garrison's annual salary will start at $125,000 a year.
Tomorrow night, you can follow Sarasota Police Department as they patrol the streets. They'll be hosting another Tweet from the Beat event starting at 8 o'clock. They'll take you behind the scenes of their patrol night shifts. Now, in the past, they've discovered everything from drunk drivers to alligators in pools, so you won't want to miss it.
All right, let's get a check on our weather now. Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan has been tracking some storms around the Lakewood Ranch area, a lot of it east of the interstate. Here's Bob with more.
Yeah, and we're starting to get a little building toward the coast, too. Not many out there as expected, but there are going to be storms each and every afternoon. They'll be isolated, and some of them can contain some very heavy rainfall. Arcadia getting hit now, too. Northport, earlier some big storms moved through, dumping some heavy amounts of rainfall there. That has since moved on. This is the cell in particular that's rather important. A lot of lightning strikes occurring, and you'll notice a few lightning strikes occurring outside of the rain area. That's the bolt from the blue. Those are the most dangerous because you think it's not raining, you're out of the way, and of the lightning strikes, you're not. It can travel some 20 miles away from the storms themselves, and there has been quite a bit of lightning just lately right there near State Road 64 and I-75, spreading now toward East Bradenton and into downtown East Bradenton there, again near 301. A 3D look showing these storms really starting to get some vertical height to them. We have 50,000 feet. That's why you're seeing a little bit more lightning right there near Parrish, and then again near I-75. And there's some magenta in there indicating, at least Doppler indicated, hail falling. Some small hail, could be up to pea size. A lot of time that hail melts before it reaches ground, but right there east of Parrish, that's the hail forecast in the next 30 minutes. And as far as the size goes, I mentioned pea size hail possible in those regions. If you get any pictures of hail, obviously send them to pics, PIX at mysuncoast.com. Rain has been heavy, and as far as the rate goes, over 2 inches an hour in some of these storms, and they've been around for over a half hour, so some people are going to have at least 2 inches of rain before it's all said and done, and it's been coming down fairly heavy right there along I-75 and State Road 64, stretching through again all the way down to near downtown Bradenton. So that is building that way, so expect some rainfall. Most of it's moving northward right now. As I mentioned, that small hail from the storm tracker indicating from Elwood Park all the way up toward, again, looks like Heritage Harbor getting some of that. Also some rain falling now near Waterleaf. Well, the forecast calls for those storms to move on over the next couple of hours, but could generate some outflow and create some showers out there in the Gulf of Mexico. Most areas along the coast should be okay through this evening for your sunset cruise. Now we'll have much more in our forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you, Scott.
All right, thank you, Bob. New at 6, an Uber driver from Florida will be spending 22 years in prison for raping one of his passengers. 58-year-old Gary Kitchings was sentenced today in Palm Beach County. According to police, he took a 38-year-old woman from a concert in West Palm Beach to her home in Jupiter last May. The victim says Kitchings told her he had a gun and forced her to submit to sex acts inside his car and her home. Kitchings defended himself in court by saying the sex was consensual and that he was only guilty of cheating on his wife. He was convicted of 3 sexual battery counts and 2 other felony charges.
We're learning more about the condition of the officer who was shot during a day-long standoff in Orlando. Police officer Kevin Valencia is in critical condition, according to a trauma surgeon. He's in a coma and has a long road to recovery, but the doctor says he's shown signs of responsiveness. Valencia is a father of 2, and his wife says her husband is a fighter, and she's asking for prayers. She also expressed her sorrow for the death of the 4 children killed by the man who barricaded himself inside the apartment for more than 24 hours and killed the children and himself.
A follow-up now on a year-old case involving an alleged Sarasota drug dealer. John Michaels was found guilty of manslaughter and sale or delivery of carfentanil. According to law enforcement, Michaels sold the victim heroin that he promised would ease his pain, and when the victim began to overdose, Michaels dragged him out of the car and left him on the side of the road, but not before taking the bag of heroin and the victim's phone. Law enforcement found Michaels through surveillance video at the gas station where he sold the drugs. He has been sentenced to 11 years in prison.
Venice police are trying to find the person responsible for breaking into cars. Police releasing this surveillance video of the suspect showing someone trying to open the cars just before or after midnight on May 27th. The cars in that video were locked, but police say other vehicles in that same area were not and had items stolen. If you have any information on who this person might be, call Sarasota County Crime Stoppers.
Police are asking for your help tonight identifying 2 suspects wanted in connection to a burglary case in Bradenton. Take a good look at their photos. The Bradenton Police Department sharing these photos of a man and a woman on its Twitter page today. They say the 2 are connected to burglary of a Bradenton business, but did not elaborate which one or when it happened. Now, if you recognize one or both of them, you're asked to contact Manatee County Crime Stoppers at the number listed on your screen. That's 866-634-TIPS.
Agriculture Commissioner and candidate for Florida Governor Adam Putnam is defending his department's breakdown in reviewing background checks for those seeking concealed weapon licenses. Putnam says his agency acted properly after finding out it had failed for more than a year to conduct the national background checks. An Office of Inspector General report from last June shows that between February of 2016 and March of 2017, the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services did not access an FBI crime database because an employee was unable to log into the system. Because of this, enhanced background checks were not done on 365 applications. Of those, 291 permits were later revoked once the proper checks were done.
If any of the 291 had committed a crime while in possession of that CWL, we would have been made aware of that, because depending on the crime, they would have had to have that revoked.
Putnam says his immediate focus is on making sure the mistake does not happen again.
Well, it's almost time to play ball in Northport. The new Braves spring training facility is on track, and this weekend you can see the progress. The launch party will be held this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the George Mullen Activity Center in Northport. There will be food, games, renderings of the new stadium, and a chance to buy tickets.
And there's many perks and benefits to the season ticket, whether it's movie night or kickball night or whatever happens at the stadium.
The stadium is set to be complete by the end of this year. The Braves will play their last game of the 2019 spring training season at that new field, which looks like a great time.
It looks spectacular. Still to come in your Suncoast News, how you can determine the future of the Bobby Jones Golf Course in Sarasota and what the city's doing in the meantime.
And which beaches you should stay clear of if you have respiratory problems. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
A promise was made. A promise that hit the beaches of Normandy. A vow that captured Iwo Jima. A contract that weathered Tet. A pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq. An IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Like no other. So why should your choices be ordinary? Ghibli, the absolute opposite of ordinary.
Experience it at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand what went into my credit score.
It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach.
Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think, I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free.
You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
My California Closets experience has been wonderful. My mother's a huge inspiration. Before she passed away, she would say, you should do something special for yourself. First time I saw my closet, I immediately thought, this is the best thing I've ever done for myself. I call it my Tiffany style closet. I mean, I can shop in my own closet every day. I love that. My name is Cynthia, and this is my California Closets story.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do-it-yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Siesta Key's newest luxury condo project breaking ground today. Ocean Siesta Key is a new condominium project with 6 luxury residents on the Gulf. The developer says owners will have Gulf views as well as poolside cabanas, 3-car garages for each unit. But one of the biggest selling points, however, is that view of the water.
It's going to change the whole concept of what Siesta Key is thought of. There's not another site that is like this, where you look out in the evening and you look all the way up Longboat Key and Lido Key and you see the lights of the city.
2 of the residents have already been sold, leaving 4 more still for sale. The project is expected to be complete in 12 to 14 months.
In a 4-to-1 vote, the Sarasota City Commission has decided to renovate the Bobby Jones Golf Course. But first, they're asking for your input. The first of 4 public meetings was held at Payne Park today. Most of the attendees were in favor of spending the $16 million that's projected to cost to fix the course's issues. Staff there say there are major problems with flooding, irrigation, and the greens. After spending a $2 million reserve that the course had over the last decade, this year staff needed $425,000 taxpayer dollars just to get by.
It's important to our citizens and our visitors, and to attract businesses and to attract people to move here, is the green space. We have over 300 acres of green space. Once we start chopping that up, repurposing it for whatever reason, we'll never get it back.
The commissioners have asked the Bobby Jones staff to give them feedback within the next 60 days. If you missed today, another 2 meetings will be held at City Hall at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning and 5:30 p.m. Well, red tide is back here on the Suncoast, and it is affecting some area beaches.
Red tide is a toxic algae bloom which can kill fish and affect humans with respiratory problems. ABC 7's Rick Adams joins us live from Siesta Beach tonight. Rick?
Yeah, guys, good evening. This is one of the beaches impacted by the red tide. There are dead fish up and down the beach here at Siesta. Hundreds of dead fish can still be seen, even though the lifeguards had picked up a lot of them. The smell is pretty strong as well. Experts say right now the main spots that have red tide include North Lido, Siesta, and some of the beaches in Venice.
It's a little unusual. I mean, red tide can occur any time of the year. We already know that, and we have seen it in summer in other years in other areas. Typically in this area, we tend to see blooms start to occur around September, October, maybe a little bit later, and they go through into early winter and then are typically dissipated by March or April. And this year has been a little bit different.
And we are being told it is still safe to use the beaches here, although if you do have issues with breathing, you're encouraged to be extra careful. We'll have a lot more on this coming up tonight at 11 o'clock. Reporting live from Siesta Key, I'm Rick Adams. Back to you.
All right, Rick, thanks so much. Still looks like a nice night there on the beach, despite the red tide.
Yeah, there's some areas that are bad, obviously, as Rick pointed out there. I know I was at the southern end of Longboat Key, no effects and no hint of red tide there. But right there near New Pass, there have been some reports, and it is sporadic all the way up to Anna Maria Island, and you have to keep that in mind. I know I lived on Siesta Key there. I remember one summer it lasted the entire summer. So there's a lot still to be learned about red tide and how it has developed and evolved. It typically develops offshore and then works its way toward the shore with west winds. We need to get rid of the west winds and have more easterly flow to blow all the harmful impacts off into the Gulf of Mexico. Titan radar picture showing isolated storms developing along the sea breeze front today. The high pressure ridge is right over the top of us, so we're not seeing a lot of movement, and it's producing some locally heavy rainfall. We saw that earlier in Northport and then stretching up through Lakewood Ranch and now over northern portions of Manatee County, even close to downtown Braden, but it doesn't appear that it has much of a chance of reaching here. It's kind of holding off right there. You can see that. The last frame there kind of backing off toward the east. Lightning, though, is occurring at a rapid rate with this cell in particular. It's starting to go down a little bit, but still that dangerous lightning exists. And even though there's only a few bolts, it only takes one, folks. And the blue indicates the stronger thunderstorm lightning strikes, and those are known as the positive strikes. The storm height on this one has come down a little bit, so you'll start to see this drop below 30,000 feet. That means it is weakening. This one's still up to near 50,000, although it is weakening somewhat there over northern sections of Manatee County. As I mentioned, the rainfall has been pretty heavy, too, especially near State Road 64 and I-75. There's still some potential for some hail up there near Willow and stretching off into Hillsborough County. We did have some Doppler-indicated pea-sized hail there. The rainfall rates have been heavy, and these storms have been sticking around for nearly an hour, so you would expect about 2 inches of rainfall in some areas. Elwood Park still getting the rain. Samoset, some rainfall. There we are at near Ellington, also some rain in store. Futurecast is showing showers possible out in the Gulf of Mexico later on this evening. Could see some like we saw last night, providing with a spectacular night lightning strikes out there in the Gulf, which is the kind we like, well offshore, not over land. And again, boaters have to be concerned with that, obviously. But we're going to see the potential for a few morning showers along the coast with that high pressure ridge right over the top of us. That wind flow will be light. There's a potential for some inland storms. I don't think we'll see as much cloud cover as this model is depicting, but we will see some around. And once again, there's a chance for those afternoon and evening storms. Not much. The rain chance is still very small. and it looks like that'll stay that way for some time. The sustained winds now, rain flow as a result of that, causing some east wind now across parts of northern portions of Manatee County. The day planner for tomorrow does call for a few clouds around, but not many, and then we'll see a chance for those afternoon and evening showers developing throughout the late afternoon and evening. High temperatures will top out into the mid to upper 80s near the beaches, even some low 90s inland. Titan radar picture showing a lot more activity going on down to our south right now. Not as much happening right here as far as the coastal locations are concerned, but all in all, we are looking for a chance, again, of showers and thunderstorms as we move through time looks like this weekend, especially on Sunday, Father's Day. It's not going to be a washout, so don't worry, dads. We'll still have a pretty good day throughout most of it. Southwest winds at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be 1 to 2 feet with a light chop on the bays and inland waters. A 7-day forecast. 30% chance for scattered, mainly afternoon storms, although, as I mentioned, there's a slight chance for morning shower near the coast. Not much. 20 on Friday and Saturday. Father's Day, a 40% chance for storms late in the afternoon and evening, and then it drops down to 30. So we're still not into that 40 to 50% chance every day like we normally see during the summer. That hasn't started yet. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thanks. Still to come on your Suncoast News, fidget spinners catching the attention of both humans and dolphins.
The unique tale of this dolphin rescue when we return.
Tonight, after their historic embrace, a reality check. Will Kim Jong-un really scrap his nukes?
I do trust him, yeah.
And bring change to a brutal regime. World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Dotoli Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
If you don't want to fall immediately into love, look away. If you don't want to awaken a desire for excellence, look away. If you don't want to be seduced, please look away.
Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to Mesobook.com.
Are you a Christian author with a book that you're ready to share with the world but need a publisher? Christian Faith Publishing, America's largest Christian publisher, cuts through the confusion. We'll handle all the complicated publishing issues like copyrights, barcodes, royalties, digital conversions, and more. We publish all types of books and will place your book for sale at all major booksellers like Amazon, Apple, Google, and Barnes & Noble, offering it to millions.
Call for your free author submission kit at 1-800-954-0732.
Army National Guard soldiers serve to give back to their country and their community. Their part-time commitment qualifies them for benefits such as health and life insurance, education benefits, and retirement and VA home loan benefits. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more.
This dolphin at the Clearwater Marine Aquarium is fascinated with fidget spinners. Hope was rescued in 2010 after being found stranded with her mother who had passed away. Because dolphins learn all of their survival skills from their mothers, Hope was deemed non-releasable as she did not possess any of the skills needed to survive in the wild. But she certainly loves those fidget spinners, and they are popular these days. So kids, if you go to the Clearwater Aquarium, bring your fidget spinner, right?
She wants one. Yeah.
How do you do that? A lot of those are lying around the house at my home. It's kind of fading away, but it's still around, I'm sure. We are looking at some showers fading away right now, but still fairly heavy over North Manatee County. The rain chance tomorrow, 30%. There'll be a few, again, isolated. You may get some, you may not. It just depends where it sets up, mainly east.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you again at 11.
California Closets experience has been wonderful. My mother's a huge inspiration. Before she passed away, she would say, you should do something special for yourself. First time I saw my closet, I immediately thought, this is the best thing I've ever done for myself. I call it my Tiffany style closet. I mean, I can shop in my own closet every day. I love that. My name is Cynthia, and this is my California Closets story.
You want a Maserati, but you need an SUV. Why not have both? Levante, the Maserati of SUVs.
Experience it at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand what went into my credit score. It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach. Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think, I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free. You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Letting my friends online know I was quitting kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it. You can too.
For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
I'm Deshauna Barber. In 2016, I was proud to win the title of Miss USA. What makes me just as proud is my service in the U.S. military. In the service, a soldier gains skills and learns values like discipline and leadership. That makes them an asset to any business that hires them. If you're an employer, on behalf of Coalition to Salute America's Heroes, remember to hire smart and bet on a vet. Visit saluteheroes.org or call this number to learn more.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less. and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do it yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8 Sparky.